If you are a high school or a junior high bass player, we would love to introduce you to the double bass world, not just from the new Temeshev Family Music Building at The Ohio State University, but from our entire worldwide bass community.
Now, Barry, you've only been teaching at Ohio State for 3 years, and already we're looking at bass days, college bass symposium, bass camp, a talented group of students, and now these 30-minute bi-weekly journeys into bass clinics and the bass masters. It's incredible.
We're going to play B flat major, 2 flats, B flat and E flat. And we start in half position, way back here, really close to the nut on the bass, so it's nice and in tune. And when you go from 1 to 4, the distance is really large. So I encourage you to lift that first finger so that the 4th finger can reach the next whole step very easily and be in tune. So we'll start playing the B flat 2-octave scale, pizzicato. Play along with me. First, start on first finger, B flat. Then C natural, lift that finger, play a good C natural, 4th finger on the A string. Open D, back to half position for E flat. Lift that finger, play a good F natural, 4th finger. Open G, 2nd finger A natural, 4th finger B flat. We'll shift to C, 1st finger. D natural's right there, 4th finger. Now we have E flat, 1st finger, shift to that finger, E flat, 4th finger F. Now during the F, put the bass on your shoulder if you're standing, and we go into the thumb position, G. 1st finger, a whole step away, A natural. 2nd finger B flat, back to A natural, half step back, 1st finger A, G harmonic or pressed with the thumb, shift back to the 4th finger F, E flat's right there, 1st finger, shift back to D natural, 4th finger, C natural, 1st finger's right there, back to half position, B flat, 4th finger, A natural, 2nd finger, open G, F natural on the D string, 4th finger, 1st finger E flat, 1, open D, C natural, 4th finger on the A string, and B flat. You'll notice on this scale, if you don't want to go to the high thumb position, you could take those last 3 notes, G, A, B flat, on the G string an octave lower, G, A, B flat, A, G, and then continue the scale. But most of you can handle the upper thumb position notes. All right, now let's grab the bows and we will play the B flat major once again with me. Start really way back in half positions, because the half position is really a position where many people don't reach all the way back and it's usually sharp. So we want to make sure that we're in tune and have those B flats and E flats way back there in half position, and then adjust your finger, lift that first finger so you could play a good 4th finger whole step that follows. Okay, here we start with the B flat. Once again, B flat, C, open D, E flat, nice and low, good, high F, open G, and A natural, 2nd finger, B flat, 4th finger, we shift to C, D natural, 4th finger, E flat, shift to 1st finger, F natural's right there, 4th finger, bass is in the shoulder, go to the G harmonic or thumb press, 1st finger, A natural, whole step away, 2nd finger, half step away, B flat, back to A natural, 1st finger, back to the G, shift back to the F natural, E flat's right there, 1st finger, shift back to 4th finger D, C natural, 1st finger, back to B flat in half position, way back there, A natural, 2nd finger, open G, A string and the low B flat. There you go.
Your sound is your signature. A lot of things you can do to get a good sound. I'll tell you a few things you don't need to do. You don't need to raise your strings way high off the fingerboard. You don't have to pull the string so far back like you're about to shoot off an arrow. You don't need to do any of that. Keep your strings at a nice height, maybe 0.9, 1 whole centimeter off the fingerboard. Play without an amp, especially when you practice. Don't move your right hand around too much while you play. You don't want to. See the guys doing the bird when they play? Start flapping their hands almost like a chicken. They think somehow physically it makes them swing harder. It just makes you tired, that's all. Need all that movement, just right in there. And keep your thumb locked. See my right thumb? Whoops. It's not going all in here. Keep it locked.
I don't know what happened, but when I touched the bass for the first time, it was like I never wanted to touch the violin again.
Is that right?
Because, you know, my whole life I was dabbling in different instruments. Like I would hear one instrument somewhere and I would want to play that. I went through oboe, clarinet, piano, guitar, anything that I heard, and I would think like, oh, that's the one. And I would gravitate towards it, and then it would end up not being the one. And when I picked up the bass, not that I could play or sound good or anything, but when I picked it up, it was just like, oh, this is what
Yeah.
I've been seeking. Okay. And I really just never wanted to
Have
go
that
back to
Mother
that
Earth
one.
against your body. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It really went straight through. So. They say that in your early life romance came, and in this heart of yours burned a flame that flickered one day and died away. Then, with disillusion deep in your eyes, you learn that fools in love soon grow wise. The years have changed you somehow. I see you now. Smoking, drinking, never thinking of tomorrow. Not enough diamonds shining, dancing, dining with some man in a restaurant. Is this all you really want? No, sophisticated lady, I know you miss the love you lost long ago. And when nobody is by,
Was Bottesini the Elvis of his time? What's going on? It's Jason Heath, and welcome to Stupid Bass History. This is an irreverent, but pretty much factual, look at historical figures in the world of the double bass. And Stupid Bass History, is that a good name? I'm not sure. This history's not really that stupid. Let me know if you got a better name in the comments. Giovanni Bottesini was born in Crema in northern Italy. He was taught music by his father, an accomplished clarinetist and composer, and he found himself playing timpani by age 11. His father sought a place for him in the Milan Conservatory, but the Bottesini family did not have a lot of money, so Giovanni needed a scholarship. Only two positions were available, double bass and bassoon. He prepared a successful audition for the double bass scholarship in a matter of weeks. By the way, I'm pretty sure the correct pronunciation is Bottesini, but I'm a Midwestern person, lived in Chicago for decades.
The Bears.
And I have these accent things just baked into my being. Only 4 years later, a surprisingly short time by the standards of the day, he left with a prize of 300 francs for solo playing. This money financed the acquisition of an instrument by Carl Giuseppe Testore. More on that later. And Bottesini was on his way to being stamped as Paganini of the double bass. Here's where I can't help but start to see the Elvis comparisons. In 1846, at just 24 years old, Bottesini had already toured Italy and played a debut concert in Vienna. At this point, he took a position as principal bass of Havana's Opera Orchestra, which soon headed to New York and a summer tour of the United States. It's incredible to me the amount of touring that Bottesini did in his day and what that touring must have been like.
Everybody spend money.
They They didn't even have steamboats at this point. The railroad was just getting going. Can you imagine hauling a bass in the mid-19th century all over the world? North America, South America, Italy, Africa. It's just incredible to think about. During this U.S. tour, Bottesini and a few other orchestra members regularly took to the stage at intermission to play solo works. These solo works overshadowed the entire concert, getting rave reviews even as the company as a whole was being skewered by the press. A critic in 1847 wrote the following about a performance of Moses in Egypt. The chorus throughout were all bad, all shouting and no singing. A want of rehearsal was evident throughout the entire band, always excepting Bottesini, the splendid contrabassist who is ever prompt and efficient. From the Boston Post, he burst forth in a perfect blaze of power, brilliancy, and incredible feats of combined force and delicacy. From the Knickerbocker, he is the Paganini of that cumbersome instrument and hugs it as closely and tenderly as the mighty wizard fondled his favorite Cremona or Stradivarius. Perhaps the most bizarrely enthusiastic review came from the Philadelphia North American. Imagine a wild, lank-haired, dreamy-eyed Italian, flying with a ferocity that makes you dizzy to see, with a discharge of infantry on the ground floor and a sky full of rockets from the housetop, all at the same instant, and all crashing, cracking, whirling, and coruscating in the air at once. This would be something like Bottesini playing the double bass.
Playing bass is not a joke. Use my bow and give it a poke. All the other basses, they are broke. But I heard me play that harmonic and go. Yes, I use my bow. My name is Bottesini, that's all you need to know.
Bottesini was a frustrated composer who found himself branded his entire life as a double bass soloist. He yearned to be taken more seriously as a composer, but in many ways he was just too popular as a bass soloist. The fees he received for his solo playing were outrageously high, even higher than Chopin, who was one of the most popular performers of the day. Regarding this composer-performer conflict in Bottesini's life, the director of the Teatro Regio, who mounted the first performance of Bottesini's opera Ero e Leandro, stated, if his virtuosity made him a famous concert artist, it was at the expense of composing. He more often than not proved unequal to the task of composition. The impatience of the concert artist was revealed in obvious improvisations which were merely concessions to the dubious taste of his audience. Having decided to become a composer, he had neither the patience nor the desire to really work at it. It was enough for him that his work sparkled and that he could move on to other things. Bottesini was notoriously bad with money, blowing it on all sorts of weird luxuries and liberally loaning it out to friends. He found himself perpetually in need of cash, which led him to take ever more solo bass performances, perpetuating this cycle of bass performer over composer. Historically speaking, one of Bottesini's greatest achievements has to be his conducting of the premiere of Verdi's Aida. Many assume that Bottesini and Verdi were close friends, but research by Thomas Martin and others has shown that this is not actually the case. And by the way, Bottesini was choice number 4 for Verdi for conducting Aida. Though he struggled financially throughout his life despite earning tremendous fees, Bottesini's legacy, especially on the double bass, is here to stay. We are left with a huge array of works for double bass and orchestra and many other combinations, music that captures the essence of the bass beautifully and also captures that bel canto Bellini style of the mid-19th century. Many organizations worldwide are dedicated to preserving and promoting the legacy of Bottesini with regular competitions and research. And after many years out of the public eye, that testore bass that Bottesini played on his whole career, it came back into the public eye with a wonderful release from Catalan Rotaru. That's a quick-ish look at the life and times of Giovanni Bottesini.
We are exposed to his music since the very beginning. I consider him the godfather of the modern double bass because he revolutionized completely the way we play this instrument today. He brought many elements into the playing technique of the instrument, but some of the most important ones are melody. It's kind of a funny, a really beautiful type of feeling you have knowing that Bottesini actually played God knows how many times that piece, the same piece, in the same way, perhaps on the same instrument. So it's a very interesting mix of feelings you have playing this instrument. It's just such an overwhelming feeling, and then again, as I play and produce sound on it, and the bass responds, and it kind of tells you its story and talks to you in its own language. It's just beautiful. Sometimes there are feelings beyond words, difficult to describe. But it was a truly musical blessing.
Mm-hmm.